AITAH for shutting my mom out of my pregnancy after she exposed my secret to the entire town before I was ready to share? Posted by you/significant_whales. I, 26F, am 4 months pregnant with my husband's, 29M, and my first children. We are having twins. We are both incredibly excited, but it is quite a high-risk pregnancy, so I have been taking it easy, and we are trying to keep the information to ourselves until we know that I, and the babies, are out of the woods. When I found out I was pregnant, I put together a little gift box to surprise my husband with the news. I included silly little things like a world's best dad mug, a baby onesie, and a baby book to track all the firsts. At the time, I didn't know I was having twins, so there was just one of everything in the box. The plan was to give my husband the box when he arrived home from work and tell him we were expecting. Everything went off without a hitch, and my husband was beside himself. We had been trying for a while, so it was an incredibly exciting moment. The next day, my mom, 52F, was visiting and snooped in my husband's home office under the guise of going to the bathroom while I was making lunch. She saw the box and all its contents, then came flying out of the office like a bat out of hell, insisting my husband was having an affair baby because he had a secret dad box. At first, I was so confused, but I eventually cleared it up and explained that I had made the box because my husband and I were expecting. My mom was ecstatic and immediately tried to call her best friend to share the news. I told her I wanted to wait until I was at least 3 months along before we started telling people and asked her to please keep the information to herself. Reddit, when I tell you that the whole community knows, it's because my mom told everyone, with a caveat that they also keep the secret. It's like middle school, and it's driving me crazy. Now my mom is constantly pestering me for updates for my doctor's appointments, and I haven't told her a thing. She doesn't even know we're having twins or that it's a high-risk pregnancy, yet she insists she should be privy to all the information as the baby's granny. She is also asked to be in the delivery room instead of my husband, which I quickly shut down. I just feel so defeated. I'm trying to rest, but the constant nagging from my mom and her friends, who all claim they haven't told a soul either, is exhausting. My husband does his best to intercept the relentless demands for information, but I'm starting to feel like it would be easier to just cave and tell my mom everything. Am I the jerk for keeping the information to myself and not letting my mother be involved in the growth and development of her first grandbaby? She sent me a text yesterday claiming it is her right as a loving parent to know about her child's and future grandchild's health. Update 1 day later. Thank you to everyone who helped me write down everything I wanted to say to my mom, gave me strength and support, and told me that I should not cave under any circumstances. It felt good to have so many people in my corner, and it did help steel my resolve. I had a chat with my husband, and we agreed that the two of us should meet my mom in a public place and have an actual conversation about things, rather than just sending a text, which she is very quick to dismiss. Unfortunately, this is not my first privacy-related issue with my mother, and she is very good at not seeing texts that address her behavior, but she cannot hide in a face-to-face setting. My husband and I met my mom at a local cafe this morning, and she was so excited to see us. I believe she thought this was a meeting to give her everything she wanted and more. She started by saying that she and her friends had been planning a baby shower and would like to know the gender, which was actually the perfect segue into my pre-planned speech. It was quite long and emotional, but the main points were, I love you and am really glad that you are so excited to be a granny, but I feel that you robbed husband and me of the chance to announce the pregnancy ourselves. I felt that it was inconsiderate to specifically go against what I had asked you, regardless of whether or not you think it was harmless. I felt that you crossed a line by A, snooping in my husband's office, and B, making totally unfounded accusations of infidelity. Your actions have directly caused stress for me, and by extension, the baby. She is still unaware of the fact that I am having twins. We have had to have discussions about husband and me being entitled to our own privacy before. You have claimed that you will change, but we are now having the discussion again. So, until you can prove that you are trustworthy, we will not be sharing any news about the pregnancy or our lives as a whole. To say that my mom was unhappy would be an understatement, but she did not have much to say in defense of herself. Her main, and pretty much only, point was that she had shared the news because she was proud of me. She said that she meant no harm and could not understand why I was being so spiteful when her biggest crime was being excited to be a granny. In a bit of a dig at my husband, she claimed that I had never been like this until I met him and that he had changed me for the worse. My husband simply said, well, aren't people supposed to change as they get older? Unfortunately, there really was no resolution, so husband and I left after saying what we had gone to say. We have also invested in some cameras to put up around the house and will be changing the locks, as she has a key. After running some errands in town, my husband and I arrived home about an hour ago, hence why I am writing the update now, and found a note taped to the front door. It was from my mom, saying that she had put a curse on this house and on our marriage and would only remove it once we saw reason and allowed her to exercise her rights as a grandparent. While my mom has always had a strong belief in magic and dark magic, this is the first time she has ever done something like this to me. I don't believe in this stuff, no offense to anyone who does, but I did a thorough search of the house afterward and found a bundle of twigs, hair, and herbs under my and my husband's bed. I threw it away, and we have a locksmith coming over soon, but both my husband and I now feel that no contact is the best option, at least until we have the babies. Wish us luck. Second update 3 weeks later. I wanted to quickly write this as a final update to my last 2 posts, especially because everyone was so kind to send me messages and suggestions. I had some people offer for my husband and me to stay with them while we found a new house, and I had lots of people with magic experience reach out to give me information about the kind of curse my mother could have put on my husband, the babies, and me. I'm lying in a hospital bed as I write this, and I am absolutely devastated to report that I have lost one of my babies. I suffered a rupture in the placenta, and the doctors could only do so much. Maybe it would have been different if I had gone to the hospital earlier, but there was no bleeding, as all the blood was trapped behind the rupture, so I didn't realize it was serious. It was only when I started experiencing pain, instead of discomfort, that I went to the hospital, but by then, it was too late. My wonderful husband has not left my side through everything, and I am beyond grateful for his love and support. I do not know what I would do without him. My mother-in-law and father-in-law have flown in to support us, and we have collectively decided that once I am well enough to travel, my husband and I will relocate to be closer to my in-laws. My husband is an immigrant and has no ties to the area we live in. My only tie was my mom, and I will get to her in a second, but I am ready to go somewhere safe and loving. While I lie here typing this, my mother-in-law is on the phone with an immigration agent to make sure that there are no visa requirements for me to relocate permanently. As for my mother, she suffered a heart attack about a week ago on my front lawn. Since the cursing incident, she had been over at our house, but not let in, at least 3 times a week, begging for forgiveness. I say forgiveness because she did not specify any incident, and she never said the words "I am sorry." She would just yell that she had been a bad mom and that I had deserved better. It drove me absolutely bonkers to have her yelling on our front lawn about how much she loved her baby and realize she wasn't always a perfect role model because it felt like a guilt trip more than anything else. The night of her heart attack, my husband and I were out with friends and came home to find my mom unconscious on the lawn. I immediately called emergency services, and they confirmed that she was dead as soon as they arrived. It has been a really tough time because, despite everything, she was still my mom and my only surviving blood relative. Everything has been a bit much recently, and I am looking forward to a fresh start. I will do everything I can to make sure that my surviving baby grows up in a home surrounded by kindness. My husband and I are just human, and we will make mistakes, but I want my baby to always know what it feels like to be loved. In a strange way, my mother-in-law and I have formed a bond that is stronger than my bond with my biological mother had ever been, and I am so grateful to have her in my life. She is stern but has been everything I could have asked for. I have cried in her arms more times than I would like to admit. My father-in-law, on the other hand, is a bit gruff and not one for words, but he holds my hand every time my husband leaves the room or a doctor walks in, and I am so grateful for that small gesture of support. Despite everything around us at the moment, the 5 of us, husband, mother-in-law, father-in-law, baby, and me, have found solace in each other, and I am so grateful for my little family. This will be my final update, but please wish us luck on our journey together.